just currently waiting for a couple more people to come in here and for Bobby Pin to join so we can invite her in. In the meantime, though, I can go over the announcements for y'all. Right now, we're looking for new national board members. So if you are interested in joining, you definitely should apply on the WeINSPIRE website. And you can send us a DM. And right now, we're just waiting on Bobby Pin to come in here. And once she comes in, I'll invite her in and we can get started. Also, if you haven't checked out our new stories today, we have 2 wonderful stories. I'm really excited about you guys reading them. One of the stories is about a mother and son duo who are coming up with a journal to help parents who are struggling with finding support for their children who are part of the LGBT community. So you should definitely check that story out, as well as my own story with the Safe Haven baby boxes. So if you are interested in either of those stories, please check them out on our WeINSPIRE website. They're really good reads, and I think they were really wonderful information for people who are looking for either help with their pregnancy plan or, like I said, looking for support to help their child who is in the LGBT community, or looking for ways to just learn more to be a more supportive and inspiring person. These 2 stories are really great by me and Olivia, so check them out on our website. They're really good reads. As well as you should definitely check out our podcast that we have. Olivia's been doing a great job with doing shorts now. So if you're interested in short snippets, we introduced that a couple of weeks ago and they're really good. So check them out, as well as our longer podcast, which you can find on our Anchor website, as well as located on our WeINSPIRE website. And you can find it anywhere on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Anchor if you have neither. So please check those out. They're really good listens, really good reads. And as well as we are doing interviews for our national board members, we're also doing them for our internship program. So if you're interested in joining the WeINSPIRE program, please apply and look out for links. Check our website, join us. It's a really good, inspiring role, and I think anyone who is into writing and positive journalism would love to see it and love to be a part of it. If you feel you can't do it long term, then look into applying as a contributor. That's also a good idea for anyone who's ever interested in doing that. So we're just waiting for a couple more people to come in here. And hey, everybody that's joining. I want to wave to everybody individually, but it's a couple people that have come in. And so hello. Hey there, HBCU maid. What HBCU are you from? As well as, if you have any questions while we're doing this live, please utilize the question mark button so that way I can see all of your questions directly. Alternatively, you can also put them in the comment section on your screen, but if you use the question mark button it should be on the right side of your screen. So if you use that, then I'll be able to see it and answer your questions directly while we're doing our live. You can ask anything related to bobby pin, or you can ask anything to deal with WeINSPIRE and a lot of the stuff that we're doing. We're doing a lot of stuff right now and looking for new contributors, national board members, and interns. So if you are interested in joining us and getting some content published, some positive, inspiring content published, please apply and check out the WeINSPIRE website. Morgan State? Ooh, okay. Awesome, that's good. Shout out Morgan State. In the meantime, I do want to ask, what kind of stories have y'all been interested in with WeINSPIRE? Have any stories caught your attention or have really made you like think, wow, I can't believe they went there? Oh, we got our other intern from How Are You? Go Howard. Our brother says he loves all of them. Yes, we do love our HBCUs. If you did go to HBCU, shout out to you too. That's me. But we do love our HBCUs. And Bobby Pitt is in here, so I am going to go ahead and invite her in. All
Hey,
right.
hey.
Hey there.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I am excelente.
Yes, you're glowing too. I love the braids.
Thank you, boot girl. This is still leftover vacation here. I'm trying to make it work.
It looks good how you got it. But for everybody joining, this is Bobby Pin, also known as Lauren Williams, her government name, but she's most popularly known by her pseudonym Bobby Pin, which she works under for her media consulting and media branding. So we are so happy to have you again this time. You know, I loved interviewing you the first time, and you were amazing. You were so good. I had to turn into a podcast, so
Oh,
I'm excited to invite you back to do this in front of
I
everybody, so
am
that way.
I'm honored for the interest and I'm just happy to continue to talk and share and build with you as well.
Awesome, awesome. How's that show coming?
Good. Fairly well.
Awesome, awesome. Did you enjoy your vacation? I saw like the pictures and stuff like that. It looked
Oh my
beautiful.
gosh, it was amazing. It was amazing. And to be completely honest, I get to travel through work, which is always fun, of course, but there's nothing like really being off, away messages on, and just like not focused on anything, not on any schedules, no time frames. You could just do you. So I slept in, I indulged, I did everything I wanted to do. Girl, it was awesome. So remember, as we
Awesome.
are on our grind, to take some time for yourself too, because I was ready
Yes,
for that.
yes, yes. It's awesome that we can like start to get back to it now. You know, our pandemic's kind of everybody's finding their ground in there and finding ways to like kind of finesse and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's really amazing that we're able to kind of get back to normal life in a way.
Yeah.
But for everybody joining, this is Bobby Penn once again, and she's a media consultant and a brand manager. She also works as a journalist for wonderful outlets such as The Griot and as well as Revolt TV, as many more. Her own, the Bobby Penn, show. You can find her on YouTube and her website. I've pretty much binged all the content on
Yes, I know
there.
that's right. It's called research, okay?
So yes. But I want to let everybody know that you've been doing wonderful work. And so the first thing I want you to do is, if you could, just please introduce yourself for your own and let them know everything that you have, because you do have a lot.
Yes, guys, as Madison has already said, I am Lauren Williams, better known as Bobby Penn. That's my pseudonym. Came up with that while I was in college, studying journalism, magazine writing. So it's been really fun to spend the last, oh my gosh, over 15 years building and developing my own space within the media industry. So I've touched digital as the online editor for Radio One. I've worked in print as an intern for Aldea News in Philadelphia while I was in undergrad. I've worked in radio with, of course, Radio One, but at Hot 97 and WBLS in New York. So I've really had a fun, diverse career that has really kind of helped me hone in my space and better help and serve other people to leverage media and get their own brands and raise awareness for what they do.
So I want to ask you again, what got you into doing that and what made you want to give back to other people?
Yeah, so I first got my interest in journalism while a kid. I was always very strong in English, and we used to call it language arts. So we had creative writing activities we would have to do, and I would always really get involved with that, or writing research papers, just the idea of coming up with a greater concept and sort of defending it. So just English and creative writing, being an only child, I'm sure played into that as well. Just developing stories and being creative. And I knew I wanted to leverage that creativity, but I'm like, how do I do it in a way that my mom considers a real job? And I'm fortunate enough to have been able to look around me. And I had a cousin who was a music teacher and choir director, and on the weekends or on spring break, summer breaks, he would perform. So I got to watch him live his arts and entertainment side. And then I actually have an aunt who was a reporter for the New York Times for 31 years, Ms. Lita Williams. And I watched her cover everything from hard news like fires all the way to red carpets and amazing celebrity events, basketball games, things of that nature. So I'm like, if I put those two things together, I could be an entertainment journalist. And here we are. So yeah, um, went into college with my major already selected. So I've just been laser focused, to be honest. Just I knew writing and communication was my gift.
Awesome. And it is your gift because you are using it to the greatest advantage. So I want to ask you, after working for 15 years in this industry, what made you want to put yourself on Academy, which is your brand consulting business? But what made you want to start that?
Yes, it's something that I honestly wish I would have had the guts, the courage, the foresight to have done sooner. But really, it just came from several people much like you who are coming up who have questions and, well, how did you do this, or just watching other people navigate spaces, and it's like, well, you have access to this platform that's bigger than you, but how are you really leveraging that, right? I just to be completely transparent, working in radio specifically, I watched turnover like it was nothing, and it spooked me a little bit because, again, I'm watching people give years and years of their life to a brand that they don't own or have stake in. And that was something that just was always placed on my heart prior to having access to some of these larger networks. And I'm really grateful that that was placed in me. And I just felt that it was important, especially now at the turn of the pandemic. We watched, even a few months ago, we're watching networks, companies cut jobs, cut hours, cut positions completely. So I just felt like it was a great time to finally use all that wisdom, the experience I've gained, the lessons I've learned, the hard ones too, and compile them into a course, an online interactive course that many people can use on their own time. You can do it on the weekend, you can do it at night, but just it gives you the building blocks to build a credible and profitable online brand. So Put Yourself On Academy is my baby, my labor of love. Imposter syndrome set in a little bit. But I'm really proud that I went ahead and pushed it out, and I've gotten amazing feedback. My students are loving it. They're building with each other. I'm watching the opportunities soak in. One of my students is in here right now. So yeah, it's an amazing tool to just think, when you start out, you don't really expect that you'll inspire people or be on platforms and people are interested in your journey. You're kind of just doing it. So it's amazing to have done something that other people admire, and to be able to take those experiences and give them back. I think that's really important.
Cool, cool. And we love people who give back to their community and give back to the people. Yes. So I want to ask you, you've gotten really creative with catching people's attention with like names and stuff like that. And I personally love the story of your name. So could you tell us like what inspired you to come up with Bobby Pin?
Yes. Okay. So I needed a pseudonym when I was in college. I specifically was taking a course, an elective called Poetry is Performance. So all the journalism students, whether you broadcast or print, you had to take a theater course. And I had heard about this poetry course. Kamika Williams was our professor. She's ill. She's a dope performer and spoken word artist. And it was rumored that she's really good friends with Jill Scott, because I went to Temple's in Philadelphia. So I'm like, all right, if I take this course, I can meet Jill Scott. That's why I went to Philly anyway, right? I love the neo soul sound, Music Soul Child, Flowetry, all of them. So I'm like, I can really engulf myself in the neo soul sound and like really own, even though this is an elective course, like really be a part of the community. So I was using another moniker at the time and I felt like I was outgrowing it. So I reflected on Jamie Foxx in particular. His story of how he came up with the name Jamie Foxx. If you're not aware, that's not his real name. When he was coming up in comedy, women comics were like the thing. And he wouldn't get called on. So he was like, if I come up with this ambiguous gender bending name, then I'll get called. And it obviously worked. And that's who we know today. So I kind of took that same idea of what they call media the boys club, and in these photo pits and these events that I'm going to, it's usually me the only girl and there's a bunch of guys or my editors or things of that nature, right? Like guys are really in charge and that's cool and all, but like ladies, we can hold our own too. So the sort of thought process behind Bobby Pin is a little bit of anything a guy can do, a girl can do better. So I was like, okay, I like the idea of this ambiguous Bobby name. And I looked down at my dresser and there was a bobby pin like you put in your hair. And I'm like, oh man, if I change PIN to PEN like a writer, that could work for poetry and journalism. So changed my Instagram name and here we are some 10 years later and I'm still going by bobby pin, as people think that's actually my real name. So
So it works. It
yeah.
works. So Olivia asked a great question when you mentioned dealing with like imposter syndrome. So do you have any tips for anyone dealing with that? And could you explain what that is, just in case anybody doesn't really know?
Yes. So imposter syndrome, I remember the first time I heard the term. I was getting settled into essentially it was a management role that I had with Radio One. And I had never managed a team. I had never had that much like authority. So I'm trying to find my footing of like, obviously I know what I'm doing and I know that the company knows what I'm doing. That's why they hired me. But I'm managing people who are older than me or who might have been in radio longer than me. And I just was really intimidated. So that's the concept of imposter syndrome is being intimidated from a position or opportunity that is really meant for you. It's already yours. So one of the tips to getting over it as best you can is to breathe and ground yourself and remember that you were given this opportunity to be intimidated in the first place because you're ready. It's yours. It would not have come to you at this time if it wasn't meant for you. So before you psych yourself out, I don't know how spiritual we want to get, but before you let the enemy talk you out of your gift, the thing that is meant for you, it's really important for you to ground yourself and just remember and focus that you are equipped. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. What is for you is only for you and nobody else can have it. And that in this place and time, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. So I hope that that is helpful. Sometimes easier said than done, but when I had those moments personally, and they happen even still, where I'm about to launch something or I'm about to do something and I'm like, man, I hope that people receive this the way I want to, or I hope it's good enough. I remember those things. I'm here for a reason. It's not an accident. So when you remember that, you can push through. Yeah, somebody said, come on, affirmations. Okay.
Yes. So I want to ask you, like, you were talking about like having days where you just kind of didn't believe in yourself and like you felt like the enemy was kind of like weighing on you. Um, could you like expand a little bit on some of the hard parts that come into working in the media field and things that people might need to brace themselves for if they want to um, go into that field?
Yes, Lord. I think it can be a little more competitive than you might realize going in. And I don't say that to be scary or for anyone to feel they need to develop some bravado that's not them. I truly believe in the end, genuineness, authenticity is what's rewarded. So always be yourself, but be mindful that people are interested in this space and media is a part of entertainment. and that there are people who are in it for different reasons and they may move and operate differently. And that's not even just your peers or the people who you think would be competing against you for the same positions, but that can also be management who could perhaps be intimidated or threatened by you for one reason or another, or just someone in leadership who's antiquated and isn't willing to work with somebody maybe who's younger than them, or someone who, maybe whom they feel didn't have a traditional experience, right? Especially as I consider now, social media is really how a lot of people are becoming talent, whether it's hosts or getting radio shows or podcasts blowing up. People who are not traditional journalists are getting these opportunities as well. So with that said, somebody, you could be totally qualified to be there, but because you didn't take the same steps they did, they may feel some type of way. Sexism and misogyny is very much a part of the culture. I think that's very honest and fair. And there have been people that I've seen or I've heard stories of people being in compromising situations to be considered for opportunities or promotions or what have you. Likewise, on a more lighthearted note, right? Just the fact that you're around a lot of attractive people who are charismatic and have great personalities, right? So like trying to stay focused and not losing yourself in, you know, the access that you have. So it's a lot of things to consider and be mindful of. And I definitely think everybody has their own journey and that it should totally be fun. You should only be in the space working towards anything that you're truly passionate about. And I think as long as you are in it for the right reasons and you're focused on what your actual goal is, you can go very far, and those pitfalls and hidden dangers and all of that won't stop you. So definitely don't be afraid. That is not the point of that. But it is just to make you aware, right? Don't be naive. Everybody is not necessarily for you. And again, that goes across industries and anywhere. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question.
It did. And I was thinking about like when you said not to be naive, if you could explain what does like a day in the life look for you, or what do events look like for you when you are on the job, so that way people can get an idea of what to look forward to.
Yeah, so again, I've worn several hats, so it definitely depends on what the role is or what the task is for that day. Typically for red carpet, uh, let's say I'm covering it as either a contractor. So that means, for instance, I've contributed to the Shade Room. I am on the carpet on behalf of the Shade Room, so they may or may not have assigned me a videographer, right? Like I would have to put together the steps to produce the content, which was very similar to if I was doing it for myself. But the difference is I might cut corners if I ain't getting a check for it. But let's say I'm contracted out for this red carpet. So I've already in advance hired my photographer. I've probably already typed up an itinerary. So here's the address of where we need to be. Here's the time that we need to check in. So we really need to meet here and talk about what our plan of action is, right? I've probably written out questions in advance, either on a cue card or in a note on my phone. I don't really recommend the phone thing, but listen, sometimes it gets real. Use what you got. So you write out about, let's say, 12 questions in advance, or I'll have a theme. So like I said, I've been contracted out for different brands. There was a card game that helped me get a lot of really amazing access, Black Card Revoked. So I would work with the brand to discuss, okay, we're going to focus on these 8 cards because they make sense for, let's say it was the Soul Train Awards, right? So whatever prep I need to do ahead of time, that's already done and it's distributed to the team members who need it. From there, I've probably worked on an outfit. I like to get sponsorships and partnerships. Ladies, it could be, in general, it's maintenance for red carpets can be expensive. But ladies, you know, we always got to be extra. We got to get our hair done. We got to have makeup and all of that. So those add up. So I usually try to work with an outfitter. So I'll probably have a sponsor for the outfit. And I'll know what I'm going to wear. And that's already laid out. I'll make sure all of my batteries and everything is charged up, packed in my camera bag. I even have in the past made little goodie bags. There's a little free game for you. I've made goodie bags with my business card and a sticker on the front with my logo that I could just hand out to the talent real quick, or managers, or just a little token of, first off, appreciation for stopping by and taking the time to talk to me. Because those carpets can be really competitive. Likewise, in Radio Room, for instance, at the BET Awards, it just came to me. Everybody's kind of fighting for the same talent. So tables would have candy on the table. That's where I got the concept from. Just a little incentive for, like, you know, you want to come over here. Like, I got that. So I take that to the red carpet as well. And it's just a little statement, something funny and playful. And I particularly gave out mints, which is actually useful, right? You shaking hands, like your breath can get a little stale. So listen, I got you. Don't even worry. So anyway, I have all of that. I show up with my crew member, try to get pumped up. So I'll probably either listen to some gospel music. If I need to take the edge off, I may have a little cocktail. And I go in with the mindset of just having fun. The goal is to connect with the talent. The goal is to let their personality shine. And the easiest way to do that is for you to be at peace as best you can. So if you go in with the mindset of this is going to be fun, you've got your game plan, the questions are written, there's nothing else to do but just perform and execute. And yeah, that's it. So it's either me being aggressive or working with one of my team members to kind of flag down who we want. Every once in a while, a publicist may come down the carpet ahead of time and let you, church lady Candy, exactly. A publicist may come in advance and let you know who's coming and give you a heads up about them. So I usually do maybe like 1 or 2 questions, depending on how much time I have or who's next or whatever type of like strategy I have. I may do 1 or 2 questions about whatever they're coming out with next. What's your next album? Or I hear you're starring in X movie, or you've got this partnership with Kiss brand eyelashes or whatever, right? And then we execute my plan. So again, maybe I have my never say never questions, or this or that, or the Black Card Revoke game that I was talking about. And yeah, after that, either I go in and watch the award show, or we leave and go celebrate, go get some food or something. And I'm usually so excited. I edit definitely within the first 24 to 48 hours. And I try to get my stuff up on social media as quickly as possible, because one, that's why the publicists invite us there. It's not just for you to get your pictures in front of the logos and act like you popping, but it's actually to turn around the content to promote whatever the event is. So publicists really like quick turnarounds like that. And then also, when we talk about that competition, I'm gonna just be honest. You want to trip the algorithm. You want to kind of be the person to have that exclusive, or gain the attention. So if you get it out quickly, or while the conversation is still relevant, you have an opportunity to be a part of the greater conversation. So yeah, hopefully that was a nice little rundown of how I prepared for
That
it.
was really good, because like that really lets people know like you do have to be particularly savvy to work in this industry.
It's
Because
strategy for sure.
I'm thinking about like when you said you come up with like the never have I ever questions and using the games and stuff like that. You have to make sure you know a little thing about them already, and you make sure that you don't step on any toes or don't step out of line. And
Exactly.
so I'm wondering, can you tell me any experiences that you may have had with a notable celebrity?
Oh, girl, I can tell you several. I need you to get more specific.
What's the most memorable one that you've had or a recent experience?
Let's see. Most recent experience was hanging out with Tank a couple of weeks ago.
I knew
He
you were gonna
had
say
one of his first black. That's my brother. I love that man, yo.
I was on the story cooking like what's next?
Listen, I gotta put out part 2. I was already thinking about how I want to edit that. Maybe you can help me with that too. But yeah, so I really just wanted to, like, I'm his biggest fan, been his biggest fan. And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts of this job that I get to do, is that the magazines I read, or the artists I grew up watching on BET or whatever, like I actually get to meet these people and sometimes even like build relationships with them. So he falls in that category. I hadn't seen him perform in years, and obviously due to the pandemic, but just like life had taken us apart for a little bit. So he was in town, and we linked up. I was able to go with him to the show, and we had a nice candid conversation beforehand that was recorded. So part 1 of that is actually on my timeline on my Instagram TV. If you want to watch that, we were talking about monogamy. Does it exist? What should that look like in the 21st century? And then the part 2 that's coming out, Tank actually challenged men to be more catering, more of providers to women. So yeah, y'all gonna have to watch that and like argue, right? You can disagree. That's one of the things I love about conversations like that. You can agree to disagree. In fact, that probably makes it more interesting. So I'm really proud of that, and it just shows relationship management is important in this business. So to have been able to build rapport with somebody, to be comfortable enough to have, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a conversation somebody of his caliber would have with just anybody, because there's a concern of how are you going to take this out of context? Are you going to make me look crazy, right? So the fact that he was comfortable enough to have that conversation with me, I think is just a testament to relationship building, my maturity level to be comfortable enough to share opinions on something so personal. That's something I wouldn't have thought of 10 years ago or some change. So, yeah, I'm just really grateful for that experience. And yeah, somebody said any awkward red carpet stories.
I
Which
know that's hard.
I'll call people the wrong name on red carpets. Some of my best interviews you would never know. I actually didn't know who I was talking to. But I'm
Really?
really good at like kind of fishing for information. And I remember somebody telling me this years ago. I had just started out. I'm good at talking about nothing. But when I'm talking about nothing, I'm really kind of like digging for information anyway. So that's pretty awkward, right? To be like, this person is important and they feel important, and like, you don't know who they are.
Yikes.
I'll remember this one time. I was trying to think if this is a story I want to tell or not. Omarosa broke my heart. I will always remember this story. I was a young journalist, fresh to celebrity reporting, and I see Omarosa from The Apprentice, right? Like,
Oh
and
no.
we knew the reputation. She was known on the show. Her character type on the show was pretty much bitch. Like, she was just the kind of hard to get along with, aggressive woman. But I'm thinking that's just a persona. And then, right, I'm charming. Like, you're gonna like me. So I go over to her, and I was interning for another popular blogger. I was trying to decide if I want to say her name or not. Another popular blogger. And she kind of warned me, like, you don't want to go over there. Like, she's not the nicest person to talk to. So I was like, are you sure? Like, I just want to ask her a couple questions. You know, you're trying to build your portfolio. You're excited. I just want any big name. So my girl was like, I don't think you should, but if I'm going to support you if you do, but just know that I'm letting you know she has a reputation. Sure enough, I get over there. First two questions are cool. She's smiling. We're vibing. And I think either I was too hip hop for her in the way I worded the question, or it was just a really prying question. But I asked her, the Apprentice had ended. So I think I asked her something like, I know you always know how to make money. How you get your money now? Or something real hip hop. Like, I was trying to be clever, but I think it rubbed her the wrong way, either because it was too urban, or like I said, maybe she just felt offended that I was asking about her money. I don't know, but that did not blow over well. And even though that was kind of like a small incident, in the moment, when I say humiliated, she was like, yeah, we're done here. I think I've answered enough questions. It was so, I was like, oh my
No.
God. I
Oh
walked away with
no.
like my head down and my tail tucked between my legs. That was heartbreaking. So
But on the other end, you got to talk to Omarosa. You got handled by Omarosa.
I did, but I don't want her to remember
Who
that at
really
all.
won there?
Child. But okay, so and that was a lesson too of like, I'm a risk taker, but sometimes it's okay to listen to other people, right? Like, somebody was trying to save me that.
Yes,
All I had to do
yes,
was listen. So sometimes it's cool to listen.
yes. That's funny. Wow. And like thinking about like I was young then when the Apprentice of Omarosa was when she was on there,
First of
but
all, are you
even
saying I'm
I
old,
knew.
sis? Let's not.
No, I'm just saying that even I knew, like at the age, I was like, she not one to play with, and like now everyone knows.
Yes, girl. I should have listened. I mean, again, in hindsight, I can laugh at it. And if I saw her now, I'm sure she wouldn't remember it, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But being new, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know too much better. So it's just was like, dang, you didn't even take it easy on me. But it's all good.
So I want to ask you, what kind of could you give me like an example of a question that you may ask a celebrity out on the red carpet?
Ooh, um, so some of my go-tos, or what I call filler questions, are so what brings you out tonight, or why is it important for you to be here, right? So that allows them to set the tone for you, especially. This sounds so bad, y'all. I don't want you to think I'm unprofessional, because I just told you how I usually prepare, but sometimes you can't. And I've definitely been invited to things last minute or just whatever. they have what's called space fillers or seat fillers at award shows. It's all types of drama. So like it's possible to get on the red carpet super last minute. So events like that, like let's say I'm at an award show. I've been to these little like off things, right? Like you go to Grammy week, but you're not actually at the Recording Academy events. There's like somebody else hosting some kind of event, but there's going to be somebody notable being honored or something like that. So let's say I'm at one of those events where like I really don't know what's going on. I'm just here for the one big name that you're honoring. So when you talk to people, you can ask like, hey, so what brings you out tonight? And that allows them to be like, oh, well, I'm here for charity and I had this experience and my mom, you know, dealt with sickle cell and I wanted, right? Like you get these amazing answers and then that allows you to continue a conversation from there. Like, oh, well, let's say you're friends with the organizer. Oh, cool. Well, how did you guys meet? Or again, some story with like your mom is related to that. Okay, well, how have you guys coped through it or whatever, right? Like you, it's open-ended enough that you get a lot of information out of it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And a lot of times I've had people like someone else on the carpet with them is also promoting a duet or they're in a movie together or something like that. I wouldn't have known if I didn't ask that sort of entry, open-ended, what brings you out tonight? So that's one of my safest go-tos. What brings you out tonight? Over, with all due respect, I know people love the fashion question. What are we wearing tonight? This ain't E. People don't really care about that. What brings you out tonight or today or whatever? That is the question. I'm telling you, that's the golden question.
Noted. If you ever want to talk to celebrity, what brings you out tonight is going to get you.
I mean, even somebody at the bar. What brings you out tonight?
Exactly.
Oh, I just got a promotion. I just broke up with my girlfriend, right? That's just a great open, let's get to know each other.
These are free tips out here for people.
Listen, okay, life game.
So I want to ask you on an easier note, though. We want to know what's your favorite color and what's your favorite song nowadays?
Ooh, okay, my favorite color is pink. And that's why
Oh,
it's
that's
all through
cool.
all of my logos. So girly, so obnoxious. Um, and my favorite song, oh man, there's a lot of good music out right now.
They are.
I
It
don't know
really
if I want
is.
to say, oh no, I can't pick. Jasmine Sullivan has great music out right now. Um, Anything Summer Walker puts her voice on is crazy right now. Chris Brown doesn't stop working. I even like that new, I think, is that Young Thug, the ski challenge joint? Like,
Yes.
I like that song. I'm not even naming the stuff I'm really probably into. I like what DJ Nice is doing, or and the other young man, Amorpheus. Like DJs are kind of doing these little mashup sounds. If they
Oh
make
yeah, I've seen those. I've seen those on
it's
like
giving me
Twitter.
real like vintage soul, like 80s soul type vibe. So that type of sound I'm into right now. I don't know. I just like music, y'all.
I know it's so hard, like when like you really like music, like to pick like one song or just like a couple. That's how
And
I
I'm leaving
am.
out hip hop. I didn't name anything but my girl Sweetie. Like I don't know. I like music. It depends on the mood.
I'm gonna say if you like mashups, I'm gonna put you on to a good song. I found the other day on Twitter. It's So Into Woe. It's
Okay.
Snow Allegra and Tamia's mixed together. It's really
Please,
good.
no, you gotta link me. That's my new favorite song. I haven't heard it, and I already know that's my new favorite song.
It's good. It's good. So I want to ask, is there something you wish that more people recognized about you?
Oh man. I was having this conversation with my friend on vacation, and it's like as much as I share and as open as I feel like I am, I really think people would be surprised to know like my real backstory. Everybody has a sob story, so I'm not gonna make it sound like I had the worst experience. I definitely didn't. But when I really think about where I came from, what I saw, the odds that were stacked against me, I really like shouldn't be here. You know what I mean? It would be understood if I wasn't who I am. I think people would feel that way. Um, so it feels a little frustrating sometimes when I feel like I'm giving my all and I'm doing the most and I'm putting in all this extra stuff on top of what I've already had to overcome, and I sometimes feel overlooked or not exactly where I want to be, because that's the price of ambition sometimes. No matter how far you get, you still feel like you're not far enough. Um, So I'm waiting for the right time to do like a memoir kind of book and really let people in. And I think that it would be more inspirational than people already find me. I don't, not trying to gas it, but I'm just saying, like, it's things that I've been unpacking over the last couple years, such as I've recently reconnected with my biological family. I was adopted at 3 months old. And that process of getting to know my brothers and my grandfather and just questions and stories, and so that's where I get that from, or right, like, I don't know, I've just been unpacking a lot of things, and there are things that I've buried or forgotten about or whatever, that is just like I really overcame that, that was really my experience, like we really went through that, and I'm still here and I'm still smiling and I still have love for people despite all of that. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to the day that it makes sense and that I'm comfortable enough to kind of share the real backstory behind, who I am, and the mindset that is taken to not be a victim of circumstances.
Wow, well, that's gonna be really brave, and I know that's gonna be a good book because
Yeah.
you got it all in the
I'm like, I didn't even
business.
say nothing, but I'm saying something. I don't know if you can feel it, but
No, I
yeah,
feel it because
man.
I'm just like, when it come out, let me make sure. Let me make sure I get my copy. Let me make sure I'm in line to get my copy.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we were talking about reading and whatnot in our last interview. So I love me a good memoir and a good what's behind
So
the scenes.
what's a good one you've most recently read? Because I feel like a lot have come out in the last like year. So what's a good
Specifically
one?
for self-help or just any book in
Like
general.
a memoir that I should look at.
Oh, okay. I read, I don't know if this would be considered a memoir, but I read it in our memoir reading class. There was one by the lady Cheryl Strayed. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She did that movie. Well, that movie with Reese Witherspoon is based upon her life, called Wild.
Okay.
So the name of the book is Sweet Little Things, I believe. She
Okay.
has a couple, but I think that was the one that I read. But it was based on her blog that she had, and it basically is just all these people coming together to tell their stories, and she gives them advice. And it was so deep, so powerful. Some people had incredible stories of like loss, like you mentioned. I remember there was a story about reconnecting with their family. Somebody was dealing with like a disease, and they knew that they were terminally ill. So, but she gave wonderful advice, and the background story on Cheryl Strayed is that she was living a normal life and basically ended up, I think she lost one of her parents. I believe it was. I watched the movie a couple of years ago, so don't quote me on that one. But she lost someone in her life and pretty much ended up going downhill and got addicted to drugs and got a divorce. And she ended up taking time for herself to go hike the AZT trail and find herself again. And with her experiences through that, she was able to create a blog and give more advice. So that one's a good one.
That sounds
The
good. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, you should. It's really good. That one, there's another one. I can't remember the name of the author, but I know for a fact the name of the book is People I'd Like to Punch in the Face.
Yeah, that sounds like my type of book.
So, yeah, it was actually a really good one. It was about a woman who moved into a suburban neighborhood after kind of coming from like an urban area, and she was like she did not fit in with those people, but she gave a really good and funny insight on like how to deal with people that you don't really vibe with. So
Yes.
that one was good. The one that I had mentioned by Shannon Boudram, I can't remember the title of it, but that one was a good one. That was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
self-help book with relationships. So any of those are good.
Listen, we got a whole reading list, guys. I'm gonna check those
Right, get
out.
your reading on. Get your reading on. Let's see, what question do we have in here? What you have play in the body biopic?
Oh wow. I've
You got some
literally
options.
never thought that far. I don't know. That would be incredible if my life was significant enough to have a film. I mean, of course I would want it. I would care who plays me. I ain't even about to lie and say that. But I would just be so honored that like people care enough. So I don't know. I would have to think about that. Kyla Pratt, I don't know.
Tyler Pratt, Dominique Fishback would be good. Anything she's in is good.
Okay. I was like, who is that? Okay.
But she was the one in Judas and the Black Messiah. So they
Okay.
just won award, didn't they? I don't remember which one it was for. I think it might have been for directing, maybe.
Okay,
But
I
that
don't
was
know.
a really good one.
Awesome. At the Oscars?
I think so. I don't remember because I did not tune into the Oscars.
I didn't either.
But yeah. So let's see, what's our time here? Okay. So also I want to ask you a pretty much easier question. Where has your favorite place to travel been, or where's your favorite place that you've got to visit while working been?
Oh my goodness. Every time I go somewhere new, it's the most beautiful place I've ever seen. So for work specifically, oh man, I've been to LA. We've done Vegas. I've done, um, I mean, I live in Houston. I've seen a lot of major cities, but I was afforded the opportunity to go with Polaris. They make the three-wheel slingshots. They flew me out to Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, to go do some off-roading and ride in the sand dunes. It was really cool. Cordell Brodus, who is Snoop Dogg's son, was on a trip. Oh, I can see his face. I can't think his name. Really funny internet comedian dude. I can't think his name. It sucks. But he was funny. He was on
Not
there. The
Nikki.
rapper Bia. I didn't even know who Bia was. She was cool as hell too. And I got home and I think the song with her and Russ, Best Thing in the World, like blew up. I'm like, she was on the trip with me and I didn't even. So yeah, Bia was on the trip. It was fire. And Eugene, Oregon. Like where? Who would think to go to Oregon? But I tell everybody now, if you want to do like off-roading, specifically if that's what you want to do, go with a group of people because it ain't that many of us. So be careful. But we had a really great time. Everybody was super hospitable, and just literally visually among the most beautiful places I have ever seen.
Wow, in Oregon? Who would have thought?
And it was I'm trying to like put in words what made it so beautiful, but it was just so many dimensions to it. So like I said, there were beaches, which I really didn't expect, and that kind of gave me like a tropical energy. But then there were like heavily wooded areas, so more foresty, more of probably what you would expect Oregon to look like. And then just so I'm from the East Coast, so I'm used to tall buildings and things being right up on each other. So anytime I go somewhere, I always tell people in Texas, I just love how spread out things are. You can just see the sky for miles. You know what I mean? Like you could just see. I don't know
Yeah.
how else to say. So like Oregon was like that. It was just space, like endless space. So I don't know. Maybe I just was on a high because we were driving fast and like, adrenaline. I don't know. But it was really beautiful. It really was. And I would encourage people like, it's 50 whole states in this country. Go see them. I've been to
Definitely look at
Denver.
it.
Like, yeah, it's stuff here.
Yeah, there's something somewhere that a lot of
Yeah.
people aren't knowing about. You could be the first to be on.
Right? Let's travel. I don't know. Maybe I need to do that next. Would y'all come travel with me?
Do a traveling blog. But oh, and Mr. Clark said they won for best supporting actor.
Okay.
Good, good, good. And back on our music question, Olivia was saying, "What were you playing on vacation?"
So I tried to share the aux responsibilities. You know how that go. We was listening to a little bit of everything. But on vacation, that was real act up season. So we were playing reggae music so we could whine and be real sexy with it. Or we were playing like the girl rappers, Cardi B, Flo Milli, Megan Thee Stallion, City Girls, Baby Tate, Erica Banks. I'm trying to think of all the girl rappers. There's so many. Asian Brat. Low key Black China. Black
Really?
China, the rapper. Y'all sleeping. Y'all faking. My sis got bars, okay? And I'm not just saying that. Y'all sleeping like on the low. On the low. Listen to that new Black China. She got a song with her Asian Brat that I like. And it's another song. It's called Cash. And I want to say Trippie Redd. I think that's the one that Trippie Redd is like a feature. Go listen to those two songs. Matter of fact, don't just listen to them. Go watch the videos on YouTube. You got to see the
I'm
whole
trying to remember
persona.
the. I'm trying to remember the name of the song. Isn't it called Hollywood?
I
It's
think
something
it's
like
called,
that.
maybe I got it mixed up. There's one song she has that's literally called Cash.
Okay, maybe that's the one I'm thinking about because I know I've seen the music video. I've seen the music video on her page,
So
and
do
I listened
you
to it,
do you agree with me or you think I'm crazy?
I sent it to somebody and I was like, "It's not bad."
It
I
kind
did
of
say that. I
popped.
was
It
like,
kind
"It's
of
not
like.
bad."
But here's the thing. Here's why I think I'm okay with it. For real, the female rappers now are wearing the stripper persona. Some of them actually are strippers that are now rappers, but some of them are kind of faking it. So if that's the lifestyle we're portraying in the music, who better? She invented it. Drake been we know Black China because Drake was rapping about her. So if anybody should benefit from strippers being rappers, it should totally be Black China. And I think she's nailing it. So I don't care. Sue me. Black China, you got to support her. When you go on concert, I'm pulling up. All right.
That's funny because I sure was like you put me onto a couple songs. I'm not gonna lie, you put me onto a couple
I'll
songs when I was
see
watching the
it.
story, and I did save them. I'm trying to remember which one was the one. It was called something like Loyalty, and it was like a and song. I can't remember
Ooh,
which
but
one it is.
was it more like a neo soul kind of song?
Yeah, it was three people in the
Alex,
song.
Alex Isley. I think
I
that's her
think
name.
so, something like that, and somebody really famous too. I cannot remember it off the top of my head, but that one was a good
Loyalty,
one.
girl. If my other phone was near, I would look it up real quick. I think I know what you're
That one
talking
was a
about.
good
So
one.
yeah, I use music in my stories a lot just to kind of um keep the flow going because the stuff I post be so random they don't be related. So I'm like, just put different songs. And yeah, that's my way of kind of like I guess letting people know my ear and how diverse it is. So I don't listen to just anything. You can vouch for that. Like I there's gospel music I put in my stories. I put country music and rock music in my stories. Yeah, neo
Everybody has a
soul and
chance to
vibey
get branded.
music, like all of that.
That's good. Everybody gets a chance to get branded and some recognition from Bobby Pink.
Equal
So,
opportunity.
yes. And I believe that. I'm a music person, so I love asking about other people's music stuff because,
Yes.
yes.
Well, I'm loving this
I'm,
Donna Summers hair you're serving. I'm here for. I was like, okay, feathers, this volume.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I love Donna Summers, and every day I style my hair, I actually do. I do sing a couple of disco songs, not gonna lie.
Yes.
But yeah. So on the last question I'm gonna ask before we get to wrapping up is there anything else in the future that you wish to achieve?
Yes. I've been playing around with the idea of being a recording artist for the longest. Well, let me stop saying that. At this point, I'm technically a recording artist. But in terms of me out in the forefront and like really putting together a solid project, I haven't done that seriously yet. So that is definitely a goal in the coming time. I don't want to put a time frame on it, but I'm feeling a now or never type of energy, type of push. As I come into my own a little bit more, I get more mature, the more grounded I feel in who I am. Um, yeah, I think it's time to just step out and give it a shot, see what happens. Maybe I'm not the next Beyonce, but I can still put out a project and, just do the labor of love and be able to say I did it, right? Most of my journey, most of my motivation is the idea that, like, when it's time for me to go, I don't want to be on my sick bed thinking, what if? So I give things a try. And I fail out loud all the time. Get back up,
Yeah,
try again.
that's a good one. That's a
So
good
yeah, so that's
idea.
definitely top of the list. And then also probably moving more into either production or direction of like a sitcom or movies or a little more creative. So still storytelling, still communication, still using language, but in a more creative Hollywood type of space.
I can see that. I'm thinking like HBO, like
Yeah,
Two Dope Queens.
speak it, baby girl, speak it. Yeah.
We got either Wendy Williams, Two Dope Queens, or what's the new season of a Black Lady sketch show?
Yes. Okay, so fun fact about that show. I actually went to college with Quinta.
What?
She,
What?
the creator of the show, one of the star actors. And I will always remember, I love sharing this. I know the interviews about me, but like, you got to be inspired by other people around you. And Quinta is definitely one of them. I will always remember her coming up to me in the cafeteria and introducing herself. She was already kind of popular on campus. Social media, Twitter was like the big thing at the time. So she was big on Twitter. People already knew her. So she's like, hey, like I'm QBZ. So I was like, girl, I know who you are. Like you funny as shit. So she's like, yeah. I'm gonna be an actress. I'm moving to LA, and I'm gonna work for Disney. Now, like we're in our 20s, you know, she's little, so I didn't know if she was serious or not. And even though she doesn't work for Disney, just watching her journey, like I've seen her make the Forbes list. I've watched her take skits and turn it into a career at BuzzFeed, and then parlay it into now she has production deals with HBO. So it's just been amazing to watch people like that I came up with, just watching them say they're going to do something and then do it. And I've seen her since. We've run into each other in LA a couple times, and she's still humble. She still remembers me. So even that is like just inspiring, right? Like you can be successful and not be, you know, rude to people, or it will just still be the same person. Maintain your character. So shout out to sis, you brought it up. So I had to take that moment to my Temple sister. Okay, out here killing it. Success is in the air.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was just telling somebody about her. We were watching an episode of the new season of a Black Lady sketch show, and they're like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "No, that's the girl from Vine." And we
Right,
were like,
yes. A
"Can I get
large?
a large?"
He got money.
They're like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, watch her."
Yes, yes.
And somebody said they want to see an Issa Rae collab. I do too.
So it's like I have people on my celebrity hit list of like when I meet them or when I interview them, I know I made it. And I've written about Issa Rae before, but I've not yet met her. I haven't interviewed her or anything. And I'm not frustrated by it because I know when it happens, it's going to be the right time. So I like that you wrote that. And I'm going to say from your mouth to God's ears, that would be a dream come true. Oh my gosh, that would be a dream come true.
We all love to see it. We would really love to see it. Anything with you in it and Issa Rae, it's gotta be good. It's gotta be
Thank you, thank you.
good. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I really enjoyed talking to you. It's always so fun and so insightful to hear everything that you have to say. Is there anything lastly that you want to tell the viewers or give them any advice or any positive words to go off on?
Yes. Again, thank you so much for tuning into this live. Thank you so much for having me, Miss Madison. I love the platform. I love what you guys stand for. So definitely thank you to WeINSPIRE. If you're liking what you're hearing, you're feeling the vibe, feel free to come follow me at Bobby Pin right here on Instagram or over on YouTube at the Bobby Pin. Or you could just go to my website. How about that? thebobbypin.com. And that's where you can find everything, including my online course, Learn to Build Your Own Media Brand at putyourselfonacademy.com. So yeah, thank you again so much for having me.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for everybody for tuning in and asking questions. We've really enjoyed you. Please go check out her content. It's amazing. You won't regret it. And don't forget to follow WeINSPIRE for more interviews like this. Thank you for coming, and thank you for joining, Bobby.
Thank you.